Hello. Welcome everyone to JLABTV. I am JLAB and this is Football Manager 2022 and this is our second season recap in our Build a Nation save in the Czech Republic with Vysočina Jihlava. And I wanted to show you this first and foremost because we managed to secure an affiliate link with Roma in the summer. We've just finished our second season and this felt like a big deal at the beginning of the year when we were looking to try and avoid relegation. We predicted to finish in 16th place at the beginning of the year, but Roma being our parent club was good. Yes, they'd also have the first choice to our players, but more often than not, why would Roma want to buy our players unless we produce some really good talent? But hey, Roma were allowing us to loan players from them for nothing, for absolutely nothing. And we're going to show you these players that we've actually loaned from, along with other players we bought through the transfer window in a bit. But Roma are paying us 105,000 for the privilege to be our parent club and for the rest to have the first option to buy our players. But we're getting players on loan from them for free on occasion. So it's very useful. So as I'm sure you can understand, we were very busy with the transfers. And this is just the staff. So we brought a lot of staff in. I've also may have already started working on the staff for next season, but that's beside the point. We've got Alexander Hleb as a scout. Now, he's not the best in the world. In fact, he prefers to be a director of football, but I thought for someone like him to join us, it's a good deal. And for someone who's been around the world a lot. And that's what I was excited about. Russia, Turkey, England, Belarus, and Bahrain for some reason. I don't know why he doesn't know Germany that much, given he played there for a couple of years, but it is what it is. But that's the one person I want to talk about in terms of the staff income. And I thought we have to do something good. And when we're able to spend 235,000 on transfers, I think it's a good deal. So the first player we bought from actual money was this guy, Milos Kopecny, for £2,000. And I think for £2,000, when we can potentially sell him off for his value of between 95 to 375,000, is a pretty good deal. And someone we relied on quite nicely, and he proved to me why he was worth the £2,000. And perhaps someone who was even better value for money was Lucas Holik. We bought for £3,000 from SFC Opava. We bought him. He's now worth between 325,000 to 500,000. We may be trying to give him a new deal since his contract expires, and I think he wants about 1,800 a week, which is not ideal when we've only got not a good amount of money for transfers and wages. So that's the thing. He was really good for us this year and really helped us cement our position as, well, we'll get to that in a bit. We brought in Stefan Meyer on a free transfer for free, and I realized immediately afterwards, this guy's not as good as I thought he would be. We're paying £1,000 a week, so we pretty much paid 52 grand for this guy. He's gonna leave in the summer for 40,000, and I thought, you know what? For 40,000 profit, when we spent 52 grand on him effectively for the wages, he's not a bad deal to get going there. He wasn't really good enough, and I decided, you know what? It's not a player I want to keep around. We need to get rid of him. I wasn't playing it that much, and he played 9 times, and paying him £1,000 a week was not my smartest ever move. Then we started to bring in players on loan from Roma, and Filippo Trippi is the first of those people. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was thinking he was going to be a starter. He didn't really start for me in the end, but given we kind of made him a regular starter or a squad player for the most part, he was okay. I was bringing him to be a midfielder, but then I realized I can get some other midfielders in who may be even better than this guy. But Filippo Trippi, for what it was and for what he did, kind of gave me the go-ahead to say, we can sign some really good players on loan this year and for beyond. We then brought in Ruben Providence, and for someone who is from the Haiti national team, he's done okay. Now, he actually started more than I was expecting, and he did quite well, 7 goals, 4 assists, but at the end of the day, I wasn't expecting him to really be in the first team as much. I'm really happy I brought him in now because he gave me a lot of options to work with, and paying none of his wages, just like we were for Trippi, it's a good option, and it's one of the reasons why I brought the guy in. It then turns out he doesn't have big matches, so probably won't bring this guy in ever again, but hey, he was good for what it was. This guy on the van, ho, we are very happy. We got Joseph Moavik on loan from Slavia Prague. Now, we paid about 26 grand, I think, overall for the season. We're paying about 350 a week. It was 425 a week at first, but then it's gone down to 350 because we got Moavik not just this season, but we've also managed to extend the loan deal for next year. And this guy, at the age of 17, was really good. He's become better because we played him a lot. And, okay, I say a lot. He only played 17 times in the league. But between rotation and having to bring people in and out, we were okay. It actually got to the point that at one stage, the Slavia Prague manager was upset with how little I was playing him. So he actually told me to play him more. And Moavik proven why I was really keen on the guy when I realized he existed and he was available for loan. He had just signed for Slavia Prague from SFC Opavl, and, well, they lost a good player here. We've got him for an extra year. 17 times he played, got 2 Player of the Match awards, and for a 17-year-old who's now 18 and to be 6'6", it meant that along with Vidrell, we've got a 6'5" defender Vidrell and a 6'6" defender in Moavik. We're very tall at the back and could be a nuisance from corners, and it's wonderful to say the least. And he loves us here. He really loves playing for us, and I'm his favourite person now. It's apparently going to be also the next Thomas webcast, so good stuff. So I might have spent big money from Lucas Budfadak, and that was about 50 grand, and it wasn't my best of a move. I'm going to be honest and say that here now. I saw the consistency, and I saw what we had, and I realised I need more players in the attacking midfielder position, which, given he was the natural in, it made sense. Then I realised a few more things. One, he's not good enough for the club, he doesn't have big matches, and he's never going to be good enough to be a top-flight player, so a mistake in that regard. But he was a good option on both wings. I used him both wings, and as the attacking midfielder, he played 28 times, starting and from the bench, so he did his job. Whether I should use him again, I don't know, but it is just one of those things, unfortunately. But the most expensive selling I've made in this window, actually so far on the save, is for Otto Ulmer. We signed him for 155,000 because I realised my left backs need work. I don't have a good left back, and I brought this guy in. Now, he's also consistent, which is a reason I brought him in. He can play in multiple positions, and he's decent for the level. So I looked at the guy, I saw an opportunity, I took it, and also I think someone else was trying to buy him, but if we can sell him between the 85 to 350,000, then we're looking good. If we can get the higher end of that fee and get a profit from this guy, then I think we've done a good job. But he's 28 now. Was it my best ever move? I don't know. I honestly don't think it was, because he didn't have the best average rating, but what he wasn't terrible. But perhaps the signing of the window was Giacomo Fatigante, and this guy was not able to join us until he turned 18. And when he turned 18 and started to improve quite dramatically, I was excited. In fact, he's become so good, he's actually better than Dombia now, and that for me is exciting. Very exciting that this guy is now better than Dombia, and I tried to get him on loan again for next year. He's actually said no, so I'm going to have to find a new midfielder on loan, or even just new people to buy as a whole. But this guy did a really good job for me, and I'm very excited for what he can do in the future, and I'm hopeful one day we can get someone as good as him again, or even to get Fatigante to return. It was good. He was a very good talent. The last person we bought is Kevin. Now, you look at the wages immediately and think, why are you paying 1.5 grand a week? Initially, it was 950. I had to play him 20 times for him to get his wage to be increased to 1.5 grand. But we got him a free transfer from Sao Paulo, and his transfer value is between 400,000 to 750,000. If someone buys him from us for that value, with his fear of playing in big matches and his injury proneness, I think we're going to have a good money here, because he's only going to be good enough to be a good player for the division, but he's also improving. He's not been terrible. And I look at the guy and I think, we signed him on a free transfer from Sao Paulo. He's not a bad talent. Now, could I have got a better wages deal? Yes, I could have done 100%. But again, for what I had at the time, he was an immense improvement and immediately was a better attacking midfielder in the team. So it's why we brought him in. We also made a few deals to sell players or to loan players out, and we let Wilson go out on loan. He was pretty good. He's been playing a few times for Trinidad and Tobago at this point, and I think next year he might be around the first team. He's got that sort of ability to him. We also let Peter Vascocer out on loan as well. He hasn't really been amazing in terms of accountability, but he has been improving when he's been on loan to the third tier, so hopefully he can improve again. Now, Jan Kavanick was out on loan, and he's improved. He's been playing in the second tier. He's now good enough for the second tier, and he's worth between 160,000 to 1.6 million. He's only 17, mind you, and this guy's got a lot of potential, and he's promising, so I'm excited for what he can do. We also sold Karol Bodzensny and we sold him for 20 grand to SPV Opavale, and I think they just got promoted with him. So I don't know he played a lot, but he was kind of no longer good enough for the team, and I realized I can get a profit from him, so I thought, why not? We also sent Andre Saradak on loan, and this guy is now worth between 700,000 to 1.3 million. Another striker, and he's got 16 finishing, 16 first touch. He hasn't got the pace I'm looking for, but as a deep line forward, along with another striker up front, he could be a part of the two-man attack, but I'm not going to go for that sort of formation because I don't think it works right now. We're trying to consolidate ourselves in the division. We also sold Zuri Kolar for free. He wasn't good enough. We didn't see a value to him, and someone wanted him, and I thought, you know what? You can have him. I don't need him. We also let Vladimir Vlazek out on loan and worth between 50,000 to 500,000. Is he amazing? No. But does he potentially be good? Yes. And I like the potential value we can get for this guy. And a loan spell for him is also useful. We also sold Ferez Shudara to SPV Opavale. We've had a lot of deals with Opavale this season, it feels like. And we sold about 20 grand. He's now worth between 60 and 160,000. So maybe I made a mistake with him. And we also sold Radek Belek for 18,000. And honestly, given he's that bad, I think I made a right call with him. I really do. So going into the new season, I knew I had to do a few things, think a few ideas, and just play my new players. And given we started our season with a 4-0 victory at home against Priven, I thought, you know what, that's a good start. We have 2-0 up, Kiko gets a brace, and he's proven his value already. And then we won again, 4-0, against a team that would eventually finish bottom of the table in Tablis. And I thought, we're winning 2 games in a row, this is good. So when we won against Kavanick, a team that is legitimately a favourite for a top 5 finish, I realised something was up, that we can beat this sort of team for that sort of value. And then we won again. 4 wins in a row in our first 4 games, being Kavina, and I'm shocked. So when we win our 5th league game in a row, this time come from behind against Fastavs Lin, and then having to restore our lead after conceding a later goal for a penalty. 5 wins in a bounce was perhaps the greatest thing I could ever wish for, and I did not see this coming at all. 5 wins in a bounce was the best start I could ever wish for. So when we drew our first game, I thought, okay, it's not the end of the world. We could do more with this. We can work with this. We drew again to Bohemians. Again, Bohemians are not a bad team, and I thought there would be a team that we need to worry about in the future. Then we beat Motelek in the cup. We then drew again, so there's now 3 games in a row with drawn games, and it was against Martlev Boleslev. And I thought, okay, we're in August. We've already gone 8 games without defeating the league. We're going to be fine. Then we took on Sparta Prague and got beaten 3-0, and let's be honest, it's Sparta Prague. I'm expectedly losing this sort of game. But then we drew against Kavina, who we've taken on again for the second time in 2 months for some reason. Don't know why. We then drew again against Slovan Liberec, and I thought, okay, we've not won in a while. We need to pick up some victories and quickly. Then we took on Banek and lost again, and 2 home defeats in a row. In September, we've not gone and won in 7 matches. So after 5 wins in the bounce, we've not won in 7. We then took on our very first opponents of the save in Justin Leven in the cup. We beat them, and then we won against Slovaco, and a lot of weight was lifted off my shoulders, and I realized, okay, we're not going to lose all the games now, we're fine. We then took on Sigma, we drew 1-1, and I thought, you know what, we're good. We then took on Preven, we beat them by 2 goals. We then went to Slavia Prague and beat them by 1-0 with an 89th minute winner, and I couldn't believe it because, one, it's Slavia Prague. We should not be beating this team at their ground in our first season up, but yet here we are, beating them with just 87 away fans. And we did it with a team that's new promoted and weren't even doing amazing. I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe my luck. And then to end the league campaign for the World Cup, we drew 0-0 against Joplanek. We were unbeaten against them in the league, and I couldn't believe my eyes. And then to end the spell before the World Cup, we then won against Prevem in the cup to get through to the quarterfinals, and I was delighted because I thought we're doing really well here. Then we took on Slavia Prague in the league after we came back in January and lost by 0-0. We then took on Victoria Pleasant and lost 3-1 at that ground to go 1-0 up. So I thought, okay, we just come down to earth again. We then took on Fastov and drew 2-2 after being 2-0 for 1 point, and they went down to 10 men and still scored an equaliser. We then went to Bohemians, were beaten 2-1. Our first ever away defeat was against Victoria Pleasant, and now we lost 2 in a row in the league. We then went to Madla Voslov and drew 2-2 after being 2-0 up for the second time in 2 matches. And I couldn't believe my luck. I really couldn't, because I thought, this is surely not how we're going to finish the season, is it? And then we went to Blizz and lost 2-1, and that was hard to take. You know what? We're not this bad, surely. We then went to Paradise and we beat them 2-1. And that, for me, was the most relieving thing of them all. It really was. We then have a friendly, which we won 9-0. And then we went to Sparta Prague and beat them by 0-0 as well. And gotta be honest, I don't know how it's been Sparta Prague and Slavia Prague in the same season 1-0 at their grounds. To beat one of them is great, but to beat both of them? That's ridiculous. We then took a Slavia Liberec and we beat them by 3-0 at home. We then had a friendly against Austria Vienna, drew 2-2. We then lost in the Mole Cup quarterfinal against Jablonec. They wait until now to get their revenge. And then we went to Banek and we beat them by 2-0. And for me, that was important to really cement our position here and to really show that, yes, we are a team that can do business. We then went to Slovakia and lost by 0-0. And then we went to Sigma and beat them 7-0 in the league. I don't know where this came from either, but Kiko got a hat-trick inside 90 minutes, was 5-0 at half-time, and it's easily our best performance of the season. We then took on Victoria Pleasant, came from 2-0 down to draw 3-3, thanks to Dumbia equaliser, and now, suddenly, the season is looking like this. We are suddenly in the top 6 and have a chance to get into Europe, and I couldn't believe my eyes, because you know what? Why would you think we can get into Europe? Why would you think it? Because it doesn't feel like it's a possibility, does it? A new player team to get into Europe in our first season in this division? No chance in hell. Not at all. But yet here we are, with a chance to get into Europe, and we needed to just do well in the next 5 games to go from 6th to 4th. We had a 6-point gap to close. Could we do it? Unfortunately for us, our first game was at home against Sparta Prague. They scored the winning goal inside 2 minutes, so that was a no-go. We then went to Victoria Pleasant and lost 2-1 to them, so again a no-go there. We then went to Sigma Olomouc and beat them by 2-0, so scoring 9 against them in 2 matches at their ground, before we hosted Slavia Prague and lost 4-2. This was the game I realised we're not going to do it. We're not going to be able to do our dream of being able to do well. And then we took up Bohemians and drew by a 1-1, and we were 1 point leading. So the idea that we could have won it is great, but we didn't do it, and at the end of the day, we just couldn't pull off the dream. It was just unfortunate. But at the end of the day, despite everything, despite my own doubts of my team's ability, we still finished in 5th place, and we finished 4 points behind Bohemians in our first season. We were comfortably nowhere near the top 3. I think the top 3 is beyond us right now. Sparta Prague, Slavia Prague, and Victoria Pleasant are too good right now. The aim for next year, if we are to try and replicate something like this, is to get into Europe. And the worst part is, we might have got into 5th a season too early. Why? The reason why we finished in place too early was because the Czech Republic went up 2 positions in the European nation coefficients, overtaking Russia and Croatia. We received an extra Champions League spot, so we've got 2 Champions League spots now. We've got a Europa League spot, and we now have 2 Europa Conference League spots, whereas before we had just 1 Champions League spot and 3 Europa Conference League spots. So in true fashion, we missed out on Europe because we literally got into 5th a season too early. If this was in place this season, we would have been in Europe. And that's the kicker. That's actually the kicker. But still, we've managed to achieve an incredible season so far, and to get into 5th place was a dream start. I don't think we could have expected this sort of start at all. We were actually 1 point linked with the Victoria Pleasant job as a second favourite, and I turned down an idea that we could be going to them because I didn't think it was worthwhile. I mean, let's be honest, why would I? I'm trying to build up this club and this nation. And it was just one of those things, you know, that everything that could have gone right did go right until certain points happened. We also had a youth intake, which I thought was rather promising. I'm going to show you some of the players in question. So one of the players in question was actually considered the most promising player was Dusan Silhan, and looking at his value already being 130 to 1.3 million already at the age of 15, and he's only good enough for a 3rd tier player. That tells me this guy has got a lot of potential and could be very exciting. He really could be. I love the guy to bits already. We also have the likes of George Akansa, and they are trying to play him as a defender. I don't see defender in this guy. I think deep line playmaker. I see this guy as a midfielder or DM, but I don't see him as centre back. He's just too short for the role, and we can actually buy players for that now, which, unlike the Youth Academy Challenge, is not a problem. We also had this guy, Thomas Prochenska, and I could see this guy being very exciting. He's promising, he's consistent, and looking at him, 11 finishing, he could be useful, but apparently he's a defensive winger, which means, should we try and train him as a fullback? Yes, that was my mindset. I decided, you know what, this guy could be a good fullback. We're going to try and train him as a fullback. He's got consistency, he's got the ability to be a very good wingback, and for me, it just seemed like a no-brainer to try it. It really did. Especially when we got the likes of Denis Bogdanov in our team as well coming through. They're the four most exciting young talent to come through, and he's already wanted by a team on loan, so he could find himself going out on loan. The only problems I find with this guy is the fact he's got low determination and he's inconsistent, but honestly, other than that, this guy's exciting, he really is. We've also already made some moves in the transfer market for next season, and we've got 2 sales being made. Thomas Subert is going to be leaving us at 33,000. I just didn't see a future for him, and the fact that we were able to get someone wanting him is ridiculous. 33,000, end of contract, compensation deal. It made sense to get rid of him, and I was never going to try and bring him back. The player I want to talk about, though, is Hayden Coulson. He is a left back that I am very excited about. He's actually taking a pay cut to join us from Huddersfield Town because we'll be getting first team football, and League One Huddersfield were not. They're paying 2.2 grand a week. They weren't playing him. I saw an opportunity. I said, you know what, do you want to come join from us? I know it's not ideal to go from England to Czech Republic, but you could have a chance to play in Europe with us and not getting much game time there. And he said yes. Now, admittedly, he wanted to try and get 1.8 grand at first, but I eventually managed to wiggle it down to 1.4 grand a week. But again, something came from Huddersfield Town, and convincing him to take a wage cut was, for me, a big deal. I actually remember using him in a Middlesbrough side before now, so as far as I'm concerned, this guy is good. He just needs some game time, and he wasn't getting it for whatever reason at Ipswich or Huddersfield. So why not bring the guy in? It's a no-brainer. It really is. So as things stand, we are exciting, and I'm excited for this talent and to come in. We are now predicted to be the 11th best team in the country, which is remarkable when you realise, but Bohemians and myself, who are 10th and 11th, finishing 4th and 5th this year. So many teams underperformed, it's ridiculous. Also, one more thing to talk about. I found this guy by accident. He came through a team that came up with us last year. He is ridiculous, and he has only scored 11 goals. He's got release fee of 1.9 million, and I could see him being poached in the near future. I really could. I'm just waiting for him to turn 18, which should be next year. But after that, this guy is gonna be gone. If he's not gone to a big club by next season, when we do the next recap, I'll be shocked. I would be amazed by that. Even if his XG is higher than the amount of goals he got. But this guy's ridiculous. He's got a bright future in the game, and I'm looking forward to managing him when he becomes a full-cap Czech Republic player. Speaking of which, the Czech Republic job is apparently under threat. It's insecure, yet it's very weird. It's honestly literally the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So they've gone and been lost in the Nations League, but right now they are in the group stage of the European Championships qualifying, and they have just drawn against France. They've just drawn against France at France, yet they are currently insecure. They've won 3 times, they beat Ukraine, they're drawn against France. What do you need to do to be secure here? Because that sounds like a terrifying prospect right now if they're not secure despite drawing against France and beating Ukraine. And it's not just them either, it's a lot of nations apparently insecure right now. And as things stand, if they were to be in the second place round draw, they would be comfortably through. And that is a bit strange that we're having this conversation about this team potentially open for grabs when they are not doing badly at all. I don't know why. I'm just very confused by the whole situation. I really am. So if someone can let me know why they're insecure, then I'll be very happy about it. But I can see myself potentially trying to get this job after the Euros, because that's when the people tend to leave their roles. But hey, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I actually want to break a few records in the future. Sparta Prague have won their 13th crown in the top flight. I want to beat that one day. I also want to beat Slavia Prague's record of the most cups. They've won it 8 times now, and it's one of those things I want to try and break. I also want to get in the Hall of Fame as the first manager to only manage Czech teams, and that's going to take some doing when you realize how little points winning these leagues give you. Winning the league and cup double gives you only 135 points. I could win both of those things and be involved in the Hall of Fame for the Czech Republic tomorrow. It's literally that easy. All I will do is just win those 2 competitions and I'm there. But I want to win a load of things in this country, win the league, win the cup, win European competitions. I want to win everything I can, and I won't stop at anything until I do that, you know? But there you go. Win 2 leagues, you're there, and it's just mental, isn't it? It really is. But yeah, right now, if we want to try and break us away into the best 11 in the Europe and just generally, then we've got to try and beat this guy. Zintek Tripisalski is the man who actually managed Bologna in my Siena save. So an old friend, an old face that I didn't think I'd be reunited anytime soon. But yeah, been paid 10 grand a week by Slavia Prague. They've done a good job, and he's the best manager in the Hall of Fame right now for Czech Republic. And I think we could be looking at a very long time. So yeah, it's going to take a while to get in there, isn't it? Before I forget though, we've got a transfer budget of 112,000 and a wage budget of 31,740 per week. We've not got a lot of money to work with, but we can use Roma as the way to find people. And if you have the filter on, if you have the recruitment package that we show, we find 3,972 people. If you take the recruitment package off, we only have 2,741. So we find some people, just not a lot. And I was also having it capped, so I didn't see anyone who's been paid over 1,500 because I don't want to spend that much money on people's wages, quite frankly. Because why would I? Either way though, I'm going to end this here. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. I hope you guys like and share this video. And let's just go to the channel. It really does help me a lot. Are you enjoying these videos or not? Because I'm actually really curious right now, and I'm hoping you are. But if you don't enjoy these sort of videos, then just let me know. I want honesty. I really want honesty. And do you think we can get into Europe next year? Because I think that has to be the aim now. Get top 5 finish, get into Europe, and help the coefficients. Because right now, the coefficients is looking promising. We're currently in 14th. I'd like to go higher and higher, and apparently next year we are still in 14th as things stand. If we lose our 6.5 points, we just might be a bit lower down afterwards because, you know, some countries might actually benefit or not benefit so much. It is one of those things. Still, either way, until next time, goodbye, and well, good night.